How's it going, everyone? My name is Ish and welcome back to Duel. In this video, we are going to be doing a very special deck profile to one of my favorite monsters of all time. Jinzo. So without further ado, let's get started on the deck profile as well as the gameplay after this. Just a fair warning, I did have put in one match where my opponent timed out. I pretty much was losing, but I did want to show you the effects of the different types of monsters, which is pretty cool. But yeah, anyways, just also another fair warning, this specific deck, you always want to start second because the effects on this specific deck is actually more beneficial for you to start second than rather than going first, right? So without further ado, let's get started on this deck profile. So of course, we're playing a Jinzo deck here. So we're going to be starting off with 3 Jinzos here, and we all know what he does, right? And if you guys don't know, then I don't know what to say. Anyways, trap cards and their effects on the field cannot be activated. Negate all trap effects on the field. So this includes if they happen to have an infinite impermanence face down, a skill drain, whatever it is, it's completely negated, right? We also have 3 Jinzo Lords, which is cannot be normal summoned or sent, must be special summoned from my hand, and then by sending one face of Jinzo you control to the graveyard, and then trap cards on and their effects on the field cannot be activated. Negate all trap effects, and it's the same exact thing. The only difference between these two is that Jinzo's 200 attack lower than Jinzo Lord. And then once per turn, I can destroy as many face-up traps on the field as possible. And if I do, I get to inflict 300 damage to my opponent for each card that was destroyed. Another great card here, I have 3 of the menacing Jinzos, which is another amazing card to have. We also have 3 Jinzo Ejectors. It's good and bad depending if your opponent does have trap cards, because then at that point you can special summon a Jinzo as well. One of my favorite non-Jinzo monsters here in this specific deck is actually the Psycho Bounder, or the Psychic Bounder. That's what it says up here. Oop, there, yeah. Anyways, so basically, if this card is normal summon or special summon, you can add 1 Jinzo or spell or trap that specifies a list that pretty much says Jinzo in its text. Also, when another monster you control is attacked by an opponent's monster, before damage calculation, I can destroy both the attacking monster and that card. And then you can only use the effect of once per turn, right? So this card is great for reflecting attacks, basically, right? So there's an instance where I did have a specific duel where my monster was being attacked, where I actually got to use the Psychic Bounder, and basically I was able to ditch him and then pretty much destroy that 4,000 beater. Anyways, I have 1 Dino Wrestler Pankratops. Very hard to say. So this card is great, especially when you're facing against those 4,000 beaters, 5,000 beaters, just because I can basically sacrifice this card and then I can choose one specific type of monster in order for me to destroy it. So it's a great card to have in my field. A lot of decks are currently playing with links. Links are pretty much everywhere now. You can't really avoid it anymore at this point. And that's why I added the Fantastical Dragon Phantasme, which is a great card because as soon as they special summon a link monster, I'm able to special summon Phantasmic Goal to the field without having to sacrifice, without having to do anything like that, and just have it on the field. And as soon as their link monster targets one of my monsters, I'm actually able to activate the effect in that, which would be for me to discard 1 card and then negate the activation, and if I do, I could destroy it as well. So it's a pretty good effect card, and I do run 2 of these. So another one I have is the Psychic Mega Cyber. So basically, if my opponent controls more spell or trap cards than I do, I can special summon this card from my hand, and then I can only special summon one Psychic Mega Cyber once per turn that way. And then once this monster declares an attack on an opponent's effect monster while I control a Jinzo, you contribute this card and then place the opponent's monster face up in their spell trap card zone, and then it would be considered as a continuous card, and then basically destroy it, right? And I'll get into that why I actually added this specific monster into it later, as soon as we get into the magic cards or the spell cards. Anyways, I have 2 Iron Dragon Tiamatsen, which is extremely great, especially when I'm trying to, I guess, limit their amount of board space, I guess, right? So this card cannot be normal summon or special summon. I mean, it has to be special summon. If 3 or more cards are in the same column, so if I have one Link monster, if I have one Link monster and then they have one monster and one trap or spell card on the same row going vertical, then I'm able to special summon this monster on any basically square, right? And so I can only use the effect of Iron Dragon once per turn. If this card is special summon, destroy all other cards in the card zone of this column. So basically I get to destroy whatever magic or monster or whatever it is there, because they're technically not supposed to be in that spot. So it's a pretty great card. And then of course we do have 3 Ash Blossoms and Joyous Spring. So let's get into the spell cards right here. As you guys can see, I am not running any trap cards. It does not benefit us in order for us to run this deck efficiently, and I don't want to run into any dead draws, especially when I have Jinzo on the field. So I do have 3 Law of the Cosmos, so I can basically my opponent can set 1 trap card on their side of the field, and in return I get to special summon 1 Jinzo card from my deck to the field. And then if they did not, I get to add 1 Jinzo monster or 1 monster that specifically lists the card Jinzo in its text, and I can have it in my hand. So basically that would include the Psychic Bounder, that would include the Psychic Giga Cyber as well, and then any of the other Jinzo monsters that I have right here. I do have 2 special Titanium Metal, so basically, or Everlasting Alloy. I'm sorry, I should have read that bottom part right here. Anyways, so basically I get to activate this effect, one of the effects, as long as I have Jinzo on the field, and all machine monsters that I can currently control cannot be destroyed by my opponent's card effects until the end of the turn, as well as, or when a card effect is activated that targets a machine monster, and basically I get to negate that effect. I am running 1 Cyber Energy Shock. It's pretty similar to what the Everlasting Alloy does. So if I control 1 Jinzo, I get to negate the effect of 1 face-up card on the field, and as well as all Jinzo monsters that I control gain 800 attack as well. And then I am running 1 Cosmos Channeling. Now the reason I am running this is because it can allow me to draw 1 card if I if I think I know what they drew into, whether it's be a spell, spell, trap, or or a monster. So basically, if I guessed it right, I get to draw a card, and then this card goes into the graveyard, which is not a problem, and then basically just move on from there. So I do have an Allure of Darkness. I have 2 of them. Now the reason I am running 2 Allure of Darkness is because, first of all, most of my monsters are dark monsters, so it won't really hurt me to run this specific card here, as well as I need to be able to draw into the Jinzos, or even to the Psychic Bounder or the Jinzo Ejector, so this is extremely helpful. I was playing a different form of these cards, and I just drew into really bad cards, so I decided to have some sort of drawing power in order for me to continue to draw into the specific cards that I needed. So I'm running 2 Allure of Darkness, 1 Raigeki. You can't go wrong with Raigeki. Basically, you destroy all monsters on your opponent's side of the field, especially if they have a whole board of monsters there, assuming that, you know, they can't negate it and all that stuff. And then I do have 1 Lightning Storm, and if we all know what Lightning Storm does: destroy all attack position monsters my opponent has, or destroy all spell and trap cards my opponent controls. 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, and this is the reason why I'm running both Lightning Storm and Harpy's Feather Duster, is because of the Sidekick Mega Cyber. Remember how I mentioned earlier where I can actually, you know, tribute this card and then basically put one of their cards on their side of on their spell or trap card side of the field, and basically just move on from there. So I could just run into Harpy's Feather Duster or play Lightning Storm and just wipe their back row out like that. I am running 3 Tactical Talents. Now this card is an amazing card, and shout out to Simo, because I actually got the idea to run this specific deck with this card, because we all know that it's difficult for us to draw into 2 cards because Pot of Duality, right? It's banned. But anyways, the effect basically is if my opponent has activated a monster effect during my main phase, which is pretty much almost every single deck nowadays, where they'll actually create some sort of move on your turn, right? And I get to activate this effect. So especially if I'm at a tight pinch for cards, I get to draw 2 cards. I also have the option to take control of 1 monster my opponent controls, and that is actually the Change of Heart. And then as well as I can look into my opponent's hand and choose 1 card and shuffle it into my deck, so to their deck. So I think that this card is an amazing card to have, especially maybe I'm thinking about running this as a staple for my Gravekeeper's deck, just because a lot of my opponents do use their effects during my turn, so I pretty much would benefit from using this. I do run 1 Mind Control. We all know what Mind Control does for synchroing and for XYZ and for doing all these link monsters and so forth. And then also we do run 1 Reasoning. So basically my opponent declares 1 monster level from 1 through 12, and then I get to excavate cards on top of my deck until you excavate a monster that can be normal summoned or set. Then if that monster is the same level as the one declared by my opponent, send all excavated cards to the graveyard, and if not, special summon that excavated monster. Also send the remaining cards to the graveyard. This is extremely good because I can run in basically to any of these monsters, right? At the end of the day, I don't want to run into an Ash Blossom because, you know, I'd rather have that in my hand all day. But, you know, running into a Jinzo or Jinzo Lord or a menacing Jinzo, whatever it is, I mean, it's extremely good. And as well as we are running 1 Monster Reborn, and you guys will see how I play Monster Reborn in the OG way. Basically, you know, I get to special summon 1 monster from their graveyard onto my side of the field, and then basically attack from there. So as far as my extra deck, I am running 2 Jinzo Layered. Now keep in mind, the reason why I'm running 2 Jinzo Layered is because this deck is not based around Jinzo Layered. So Jinzo Layered is a great card, but I am not having this card be the centerpiece of this entire deck. The centerpiece of this entire deck would actually be my Jinzo Lord. So the attack of this card is 2400, the defense is 1500, and basically I can detach 1 material monster from this card, then target 1 face-up monster my opponent controls, take control of it until the end phase, but I cannot activate effects or declare an attack. So it's another, you know, mind control. And then if a trap card on the field, if a trap card is on the field, you can tribute 1 monster, and if you do, destroy 1 face-up card on the field, and then I can play this card. So I can basically sacrifice the monster that I had just controlled, and then to destroy 1 card on their side of the field. So it's a 2-for-1, right? And then I am running 2 Utopias here, as well as the Nightmare Griffin, Nightmare Unicorn, and Nightmare Phoenix. Now, if you guys have any suggestions on what exactly I should add into this specific extra deck, make sure you guys leave in the comments below. I'm totally interested in what you guys have to say. My side deck is not that great. I actually was messing around a lot with it. As you guys can see, I do have the Gizmek Orochi, the Serpentron Sky Slasher, which is a great card. The only downside to it is I do have to banish 8 cards from my top of my deck, which, you know, could be the Jinzo, could go into the graveyard, I mean to the banish zone and stuff like that. But it's also a great card because I can banish the 3 cards from my extra deck face down, and then I get to target one face-up monster on the side of the field and destroy it. I do have 2 of these Psychic Mega Cyber, I was gonna call them Psycho again, Psychic Giga Cyber, as well as 1 more Lightning Storm, 3 Tactical Talents, 2 the Twin Twisters, you know, it's there, and then the Amplifier, which is basically equipped to a Jinzo. This card is this card's activation and effect cannot be negated. The equipped monsters effect, trap cards, and their effects on the field cannot be activated. Negate all trap effects on the field becomes your opponents cannot activate trap cards or their effects on their field. Negate all trap effects your opponent controls. When this card leaves the field, destroy the equipped monster. So it's a great card, but at the same time, I mean, it's one of those cards where it's a great support card, but do I really need it in a specific deck? Probably not. But I just have it here just to have it in case I do need it for whatever reason. I also have a 3 Psychic Shockwave, which is when my opponent activates a trap card, I can discard 1 spell or trap card, special summon 1 level 6 Dark Machine monster from my deck. So basically that could be a Jinzo, right? It could be, let's see, no, that's it, just the Jinzo. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to leave it in the comments below. If you guys haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you guys do that now before the gameplay starts. And I wish you guys nothing but a great day. Alright, keep on dueling. Later, guys.